Hi everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Your House. If you watched my March 2025 adventure game releases video, you'll recognise this as one of the games that I covered. And the demo is out, so I decided I'd take a first look at it, play for about 15 minutes or so. If you haven't seen that video, it's basically a narrative-driven puzzle thriller game. It sort of combines literature with gaming, so I'm interested to see how that works. I imagine there's going to be a lot of reading and things like that, but I don't know too much else gameplay-wise other than that. Obviously these chapters are blurred out because we've only got chapter 1 here that we can check out. Let's go. Okay, Hicksville Boarding School, save Ferris. I'm an idiot. Okay. What do we do to continue here? Aha, we click on the word. I'm so gullible. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid I deserve this. I'm so stupid I deserve this gash on my head. How could she do this to me? I'm her best friend. Okay, so you click the bold text and it expands. Wow, that's really expanded. Okay. As soon as she reaches her room, Debbie heads straight to the bathroom and locks herself in. She presses her hand to the wound on her forehead. Blood runs down her cheeks and neck, staining her Hicksville College uniform. How could I have been so stupid not to have noticed, she wonders. She contemplates herself in the mirror and dabs at the cut with a damp cloth. She had been driving at 100 kilometers per hour, tears streaming down her cheeks. Had she not been wearing a helmet, the accident could have been fatal. And today of all days, okay. Today of all days, today my 18th birthday. A few hours ago, Debbie completed another lap around the sun. There are only a few minutes left until midnight and not one person has wished her a happy birthday. Not even in her worst nightmare could she have imagined coming of age would be so traumatic. Debbie is still wiping away the dried blood and smeared mascara when she sees it in the mirror. There's an envelope on top of her dresser. What's this? Her name is written on the envelope in marker pen. The handwriting is both exquisite and disturbing. Debbie flips it over but there's no return address. The stamp looks foreign. Who could it be from? She doesn't remember the last time she received a letter that wasn't a fine. After a few seconds, Debbie begins to slowly tear the envelope and opens it. Ooh, look at that. So this is one of the things that I mentioned in that other video. I love the style of the art. It's almost like comic book style, like comic book noir style. It's really, really cool. Okay, so do we... Oh, and there's happy birthday and a key. Okay, we can we flip it over? Yes, we can. Okay, so if we click on it, we flip it over. Leo or LED Motel postcard. This space for writing message. 57B Eastside School Road, 87002, Hicksville. So this must be our address. Okay. Anything on the reverse side of the key? No. Okay. Okay. And Debbie begins to slowly tear the envelope and opens it. If we click... Okay, yeah, so that takes us back to that, so you can re-look at that. So here we go. For Debbie... I'm not sure, is this like a driving licence or something, maybe? Not sure. She pulls out a postcard from inside the envelope. On the front is a photograph of a place she doesn't recognise. The address written on it is equally as strange. It's completely incomprehensible, mysterious even. Debbie studies the stamp, hoping it might offer a clue. I have no idea where this bird is from. There's something else inside the envelope. It's a key and it has a tag. Debbie picks up the key and looks at the tag. Happy birthday. The first birthday message she's had all day. Who the hell sent me this? Is this some kind of a joke? Ouch. A sharp pain pierces through her head. The wound on her forehead throbs. She really needs to rest. It really has been an intense day. She pushes her backpack off her bed and it falls to the floor with a thump. She slowly takes off her sneakers and lies down on top of the crumpled quilt. She holds the postcard up and stares at it until her vision blurs and her eyelids feel heavy. Exhausted, Debbie drops the postcard onto her chest and sighs. Her gaze wanders to the ceiling above her. This is very atmospheric, isn't it? Very detailed. I love it. I'm in the world, guys. Ooh. Ooh. Interesting. So is this a dream now because it's black and white? Maybe. Or maybe it's like what she's thinking of just as she's falling asleep. Nicole. That filthy, deceitful rat. She doesn't even like David. Why did she do it? Was she jealous? Or was it just to satisfy her spoiled brat ego? I trusted her. I told her how I felt about David. Or how I thought I felt about him. Note to self, never fall in love with the captain of the lacrosse team. Although it hurts way more to be betrayed by my best friend than to be cheated on by that creep David Stratford. Okay, yeah, so it's like, you know when you're dropping off to sleep and random thoughts pop into your head? It's that sort of thing, I think. Are we supposed to be doing something here? I don't know if we're supposed to be, like, timing a click or something here. Seems like we're getting 3 different... Oh, hang on. So... so we could change that. Damn it, that image is going to stay with me for the rest of my life. They weren't even trying to hide it. They were right there making out in the pub in front of everyone, laughing in my face. Talk about being two-faced. I chose not to make a scene, yet I made sure to pour a pint of beer over them as I left. I mean, it sounds like they deserved it, honestly. But then the accident. Where was I? I remember the screeching of the brakes, the feeling of flying through the air, the driver's look of horror when he asked if I was alright. Poor guy. He was more freaked out than I was when he saw my blood on the pavement. Okay, so we can, like, click and drag down to open her eyes, or we can, like, click and drag up to close her eyes. On Monday, I was kicked out of boarding school again. I'm really outdoing myself. This is the 3rd time this year. The way my dad shot me that "you've really disappointed me" glare when I was talking to Strickland, it was priceless. And that sorry excuse of a principal went on, reeling off my greatest achievements. Repeatedly skipping class, alcohol and drug use on school premises, zero respect for rules and school values. My dad has given me way too many ultimatums. He's well aware that shipping me off to some other boarding school would be doing me a favour. He has a million other tricks up his sleeve when it comes to making my life miserable, but if he dares lay a hand on me again, he'll know what's coming. I made that crystal clear to him last Christmas. Wow, okay, so things at home, not great. And now we're sort of like focusing on this again. It's interesting, isn't it? Ah, hang on. Debbie jolts upright. There's no point fooling herself any longer. A good night's sleep is out of the question tonight, and all of the following nights for the next 18 years of her life. Thousands of thoughts swirl around her mind. She pushes all but one aside, which begins to make more and more sense: to run away. To get out of this place, right now, without a minute to waste. Yes, that's what she's going to do. She'll have to think on her feet and figure out a way to find the address on the postcard. It's a leap in the dark. She knows there might be nothing there, and that the key might be nothing more than a joke. But right now, anything is better than staying in Hicksville. Adrenaline pumping, Debbie empties her backpack, letting her science and economics books tumble to the floor. She can fill it with more useful things. So one thing that's quite interesting here is it seems like these white pages here are like reading a book or a comic, and this is like 3rd person, so it's a narrator describing what's happening to Debbie. But when we got the black background with the white text, it's almost like we were Debbie and like actually living her thoughts and feelings. So there's a nice contrast between the two styles of narration there, and it's easy to tell which is which because they look different. I think that's a really cool touch. Okay, so we've got this here. Oh, okay, so we've got... Interesting, these have got like blank cutouts but no details on. Do we have to do anything to fill them in? Maybe. Debbie scours her room looking for anything she might need. Some clothes, a pair of slippers and her toothbrush. Alright, let's click clothes. Okay, yeah, so does that mean we've filled it in now on here? It has! Oh, that's cool. I like that a lot. Okay. That's a cool little feature. She opens her desk drawer and finds a map and a Swiss Army knife. She stuffs everything into her backpack along with the postcard and key. Alright, map. So we get ourselves the map. The Swiss Army knife. And then... yes, some cash would be helpful. She bends down and pulls out a small wooden box from under her bed. This is where she keeps the money her Aunt Lucille gave her. There's enough to keep her going for 6 months or so. She also picks up her amulet. Okay, we'll take the amulet. It's a small jewel that Aunt Lucille gave her. It was her mum's. She would have liked you to have it, her aunt told her. Debbie never met her mum. She died when she was 4 years old. But now it's not the time to think about that. She stuffs her belongings into her backpack along with the postcard and key. If you were 4, you would remember your mum probably though, right? Like maybe not an awful lot, but 4-year-olds do have memories. Or well, you have memories from when you're about that age anyway. Debbie puts on her jacket and pulls a hat over her head. She looks in the mirror and barely recognises herself. The wound on her forehead is swelling and turning purple, but at least it has stopped bleeding. It's already past midnight. The guards will be patrolling the halls of the residence, so the only alternative is the window. Debbie opens it. The cool nighttime breeze and the height, she's on a second floor, send a shiver down her spine. For a brief moment, Debbie turns and looks back at the dorm room behind her. Fuck it, this isn't my house. Ooh, okay, I want to look at this though, because we've got all the bits and pieces, I think. Yeah, postcard, which we can turn round. So not everything can be clicked on to rotate it. The clothes, the map, the amulet, and the Swiss Army knife. Ooh, which we can actually cycle through. I like that. So we've got like a pair of... Are they pliers or are they like wire cutters? I guess maybe they could be both. We've got a corkscrew and we've got, I think, a magnifying glass. Pretty cool. Alright, let's go down and get rid of that. Whoa. Nice. Debbie sticks one leg out of the window and looks around outside. She knows she must rely on the cover of darkness to make her escape. Hundreds of stars flicker above her, but the night sky is moonless. There doesn't seem to be anyone in the garden. She hears voices and laughter coming from one of the dorm rooms. Another sleepover I wasn't invited to. Good. That'll keep the night guards busy. Debbie leans on the windowsill gingerly and clutches at the mouldy bricks. She pulls herself up, placing her feet on the dangerously narrow ledge. Moving her hands and feet simultaneously, she shimmies over to the drain pipe. As soon as she reaches the cold metal pipe, she grabs it and slides down it. This music reminds me a little bit of the music in Puzzle Agent, actually. I like it. Ouch! Debbie misjudged the distance and has tumbled into a planter. The bushes cushion the blow and she isn't hurt, but the crash might have caught someone's attention. So much for being quiet. She's going to have to cross the garden quickly without getting caught. She has 40 seconds to get to the fence and jump over it when the guard isn't looking. Debbie runs. So why is this... Can we... Okay, so it must just be crucial that it's 40. We can't click it. Debbie runs. Runs more and more. Runs fast. Runs without looking back. Runs. Okay, so the time is ticking down. So do we have to click all of these? I wonder if we do. Let's click them all. Oh, I don't know if we do. Right, do we have to click? Ah, hang on. Oh no, we're really up against it here because I can see that's about to get to 10 seconds. I wonder what happens if we get caught. Oh no, I'm misclicking. Runs, and it is looking jumps. Oh no! Debbie mixed up the wires. A few moments later, she tries again. Okay, you get another chance. Fine. Alright, so you have to click that runs first. Clever. Because I was just looking at the ones underneath in panic, but it's the original runs that you have to click to start it off. Runs, and runs. Okay. And at the very moment when the guard is looking, isn't looking, jumps. Okay, so you got to time it. Nice. Okay. She sneaks towards the parking lot, crouching down as she goes. There must be some clueless student who forgot to lock their car or left the window half open. That's when she spots it. Parked a few feet away is Nicole's brand new red motorbike. A sly grin spreads across her lips. She'll have to hotwire the engine, but fortunately she's got some experience with that. Demi rummages under the tank and finds the electrical circuit. She has to cut the wires. Without thinking twice, she opens her backpack and takes out the Swiss Army knife. She's sure it will come in handy. One thing I'm very impressed by so far is the fact that there's different ways to solve the puzzles just by clicking on words. I think that's really, really interesting. You've got timed stuff, you've got rotating words where you've got to click the right one with the green and the red for like timing the jump and everything. I thought it was really cool. Swiss Army knife. Okay, so we want to rotate this around to here, I'm guessing. What does this do? Ah, okay. Cut the wires. Without thinking, she does that. Come in. Now Debbie must first connect the green wire to the black wire, and then the red wire to the blue wire. When the wires are connected, she'll be able to start the bike. Okay, so we want to go. So you got green and green with blue, blue and black with green and red. So green wire to the black wire. Okay, so does that mean... How do we do this? Green... Okay, hang on. Okay, green to... I'm guessing we want to go words rather than colours. But do we? Or do we want... is it actually the wire? Or is the coloured box the actual wire itself? Or is the word the colour of the wire? Sneaky. Okay. So, green to black. Red to blue. Alright, well, let's try words first. Okay. Yeah, we got it. Okay, so it's the words, not the colour of the boxes. Fine. The bike starts up with a roar that sounds like pure freedom. As the security guard approaches the parking lot, Debbie grips the handlebars and accelerates, getting out there as fast as she can. Quid pro quo, Nicole. Your bike in exchange for slimy David. Sounds like a fair trade, honestly. She takes the first exit she comes to. Debbie can't help but think about the boarding school. They probably haven't even noticed she's gone. Tomorrow morning they'll start looking for her. Her body aches and her head throbs, but she can't stop. She must get to her destination as soon as possible. First, she must get her bearings and decide whether to take the interstate highway or the Hicksville freeway. Okay. So, we can do either. I'm not sure. Should we go freeway? Although it seems to be the longest route, she'll reach her destination sooner this way. Okay, cool. The early morning rays do little to warm her hands, which are frozen fat from hours of gripping the handlebars of the motorbike. As the shadows and haze fade away, they reveal an unfamiliar landscape, fresh, new, and full of promise. Debbie is overcome by a feeling of liberation. Without knowing how or why, she feels she's doing the right thing. It did say happy birthday on the key. It's got to be a sign. With her eyes on the horizon, she settles into the seat and gives the throttle more gas. As she drives, memories of the past she is leaving behind come flooding back. Lost in regret and overcome with fatigue, her grip weakens and the bike slows. Seriously, what am I doing? I get some random anonymous postcard and suddenly I'm ready to send everything and everyone to hell. A freight truck overtakes her abruptly, bringing her back to reality. The strong tailwind forces her to straighten up. The traffic on the road is getting heavier by the minute. No more looking back. She needs to focus on the present and on the future. An hour and a half later, she passes a sign announcing her destination. It's almost noon when Debbie finally reaches her destination. She's in what appears to be a quiet residential area at the end of a boulevard lined with tall leafy trees. The houses are big, with well-kept gardens and welcoming front porches. There's hardly anyone around, just a few kids playing in the driveways and a friendly-looking neighbour walking the dog. It looks like a really nice neighbourhood. Debbie turns off the engine and reads the street name again. She takes off her backpack and opens it to double-check the address on the postcard. Okay. Oh, so this isn't our address. This is where we want to go, is it? Okay. How do we check the address? Do we need to, like, do this? Okay, yep, this is it. She sets off again, much more slowly, her eyes scanning for number 57, along with the odd-numbered sidewalk. She feels her pulse starting to quicken. 7, 19, 25, 33, 41. It can't be. Okay. Debbie stops in front of number 57 and gets off her bike. She can hardly believe her eyes. In front of her is a house she can't even begin to describe. She simply can't put it into words. It's beautiful, Debbie murmurs as she crosses the street and approaches the gate, unable to take her eyes off the impressive mansion before her. The gate looks like it's open. Debbie looks both ways, afraid someone is watching her, but there's not a soul in sight. Happy birthday, she says to herself, building up the courage to push the gate open. Debbie crosses the garden on a narrow pathway bordered by brightly coloured plants. Dry leaves crunch beneath her feet, and it looks like no one has mowed the lawn in weeks. A small slope leads to the front door. The wooden porch creaks under her feet as she stops in front of the door, solid and simple in design. She hesitates for a moment, then knocks. She tries again and again and again. Again, again, and again. No one answers. Debbie goes to push open the door, but it's firmly locked. To her right is something that looks like an intercom, but it's turned off. There's a small slot in the panel. Perhaps she needs a key to activate it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Alright guys, well, we've got to use this key, but I tell you what, I'm going to leave it here on a bit of a cliffhanger so that you can go and play this demo for yourself. I will leave a link down in the description below so you can do that and add it to your wish list. The full game comes out on the 27th of March, so not long to wait at all. I'm really impressed by this. I'm surprised by the amount of variety in the puzzles for something that is mostly just text. There are obviously other things where you look at items and there's cool artwork and things like that, but there's a lot of thought that's gone into the puzzles in this, and how text can be used in a less conventional way than it just being a way of setting the scene and providing narrative. I think it's very, very impressive, and I'm actually really intrigued to see what the final game of this is going to be like. It's making me think outside the box, but also doing a fantastic job of setting the scene and immersing me in all the detail, and I like that a lot. So go ahead and play it for yourself. I'm going to leave it there. So as always, thank you very much for watching. A big thank you to my patrons: Arcades Games, Wayne Mate, Paul from the Phantom Fellows, Lyle, Hobo, Numinous, Kumadim, Paulione, Flossie the Sheep, JohnCom555, Chrissy, Paul James, and Zolties, and I'll see you next time.